June 6th, 1944, the course of history changed forever. Today we commemorate the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, one of the most significant and daring military operations of World War II. D-Day, also known as Operation Overlord, which was supported by Operation Neptune, oversaw the largest amphibious assault in history. It marked the beginning of the end of Nazi occupation in Western Europe. Over 156,000 Allied troops from the United States, Britain, Canada, and other Allied nations crossed the English Channel, landing on the 5 beachheads along the Normandy coast, codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword beaches. But we must not forget the men in the skies on the night of June 6, 1944. The 82nd and 101st Airbornes during World War II jumped behind enemy lines to cause chaos and to capture vital towns and junctures to help aid the men landing on the beaches just hours later. This also included the 6th Airborne Division from the British and the 1st Canadian Parachute Battalion, who would also jump with the Americans into the countryside of Normandy. Over 15,000 men jumped from their C-47s this day. The first boots on the ground this day are men from the 82nd and 101st Pathfinders, who had marked the drop zones with the Eureka-Rebecca system that would help large C-47 aircraft formations find their drop zones. Of course, not a lot went to plan, and many paratroopers were dropped and scattered all over the Normandy countryside. The operation was meticulously planned, involving months of preparation and deception to mislead the German forces. Despite the elaborate planning, the invasion faced numerous challenges on its own. The weather was a critical factor, with a narrow window of opportunity for the assault, needing a full moon and low tides, which only happens a few days a month. The original date, June 5th, was postponed due to poor weather conditions, and then on June 6th, Supreme Commander General Dwight D. Eisenhower gave the go-ahead for Operation Overlord. The landings were met with fierce resistance, especially at Omaha Beach, where American forces faced heavily fortified positions and intense enemy fire. Many of the men hitting sandbars and having to tread in water that sometimes went over their heads, while being shelled by mortar, artillery, and getting hit with rapid machine gun fire. Many of the naval/bombing missions missed their targets, and almost no enemy strongpoints were destroyed. Despite heavy casualties, the bravery and determination of the Allied soldiers ensured that these beachheads would be secured. The decision to use the naval destroyers to support the troops on the ground could have easily been the turning point of the invasion. Destroyers such as the Carmack arrived off the Normandy coast with around 1,500 shells for the 5-inch guns of her ship. Within less than an hour, they had fired over 1,100 shells from their guns. The barrels of the 5-inchers were red hot and had to be cooled off with the water over and over again to continue on their pace of firing. Along with this, the American destroyers Satterley and Thompson supported over 200 Rangers of the 2nd Battalion that were trying to ascend Point du Hoc. They fired enough shells to allow the Rangers to take the top with their supporting fire. The destroyers and their crews are some of the unsung heroes on D-Day that often go overlooked, including the Airborne's Pathfinders. The courage displayed on D-Day was incredible. Soldiers faced overwhelming odds but persevered through sheer grit and the knowledge that their mission was crucial for the liberation of Europe. Today, we honor the memory of those who fought and fell on the beaches of Normandy. Their sacrifice paved the way for the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany and the restoration of peace in Europe. The legacy of D-Day reminds us of the cost of freedom and the enduring strength of the Allied cooperation. As we mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day, let us reflect on the bravery, sacrifice, and unity that defend this historic event. We owe a debt of gratitude to the heroes of D-Day, whose actions continue to inspire us 80 years later. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more historical content, and if you ever have the chance, visit the beaches of Normandy to pay tribute to these heroes of D-Day.